Let's cut straight to the chase. Voice training versus voice surgery. Is surgery better but too expensive? Is voice training safer? Which one is best for you? Spoiler alert, the answer is complicated. Hi, I'm Renee, and I'm a gender-affirming voice teacher. When people find out I teach trans voice training, they sometimes assume I'm anti-surgery, which couldn't be further from the truth. I'm very pro-surgery. I mean, I'm a voice teacher, so obviously I believe in what I do, but as a trans person myself, I want all of us to have as many options as possible when it comes to gender-affirming care. In fact, I've had not one, but 2 gender-affirming surgeries. I had top surgery in April of 2023 and a hysterectomy in May of 2024. So yeah, I'm a fan of life-changing and life-saving surgeries. Big fan. 2 thumbs up.
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
But here's the thing. When it comes to the voice, people tend to frame it as this big either-or choice. You either take the long, hard road of voice training, or you go for the quick fix of surgery. And let me tell you, that's just not how it works.
Dang it.
In this video, I'm going to break down why surgery isn't actually a quick fix, what you need to know about both options, and why voice training alone is often enough to achieve your goals. So buckle up and let's get into it.
Fasten your seatbelts.
That's my bus.
Okay, what actually is voice surgery? What isn't it? And what do you need to know to decide if it's right for you? There are many different types of surgical options for voice feminization and masculinization. The procedures available to you will depend on various factors, including whether or not your insurance will cover your procedure, if you can travel for surgery, what providers are in your area, and whether or not you are a good candidate for a particular procedure. Voice surgeries are meant to work by changing your vocal physiology so that you can't use it in a way that creates dysphoria. Now, how it works and what changes will be different for every type of procedure. We don't have time to talk about every single procedure, and frankly, I am not an expert in voice surgery.
You're not a doctor, are you?
I should be.
Okay.
But let's briefly look at the popular Wendler's glottoplasty, which is a voice feminizing procedure that works by changing the length of your vocal folds. Shorter folds equals higher pitch. So if your main goal is to raise your pitch, this surgery can absolutely help with that. But that's all it does, just pitch. A Wendler's glottoplasty doesn't change the resonance of your voice, it doesn't alter vocal weight or sentence contour, and it definitely doesn't teach you the culturally gendered patterns of speech that your culture associates with femininity. In short, it changes your instrument, but it doesn't teach you how to play it. And like any surgery, there are risks. And for you, the benefits might outweigh the risks. But like any surgery, from a knee surgery to top surgery, you have to take them seriously. You could lose some vocal range, you could lose volume, or in rare cases, you might develop a permanent dysfunction. The recovery process can also take time and effort, which may interfere with your day-to-day life. So surgery isn't the quick fix some people might imagine. But here's the thing, many people who've had voice surgery are really happy with their results, and that's amazing, but others aren't. So it unfortunately isn't always the solution. And even for those who love their surgical outcomes, voice training is often still necessary to get the full results they're looking for, and we'll talk about that more later in the video. But surgery can be a really helpful option for some people, so let's talk about who might be a good candidate for voice surgery. First, surgery might be a good option for folks who have a physical or anatomical limitation that makes training more difficult. For example, if someone's vocal folds are naturally larger or longer in a way that prevents them from comfortably accessing the pitch range they want, surgery can help adjust their vocal physiology to better align with their goals. Second, surgery can work well for people who are mostly focused on their pitch. If pitch is the only thing you care about and you're not as concerned with resonance, vocal weight, or speech patterns, then surgery could help you get there faster. But many people think pitch is the only thing they want to change, and they're surprised to learn just how much of a difference resonance, vocal weight, and other characteristics can make. So if you're considering surgery, it's worth exploring voice training first, because you might find that training alone is enough to achieve your goals, or to verify that your issues with your voice are centered on the characteristic that the surgery is addressing. And third, some people choose surgery because they struggle with vocal confidence. Even if they've made great progress with training and achieved their goals on paper, they might still feel insecure when using their voice in day-to-day life. For some of these folks, surgery provides an extra layer of affirmation that helps them feel more secure and confident in their voice. The most important thing is to go into surgery with realistic expectations. Surgery won't give you a finished voice, and it doesn't address all the factors that create a gender-affirming voice. It's one tool in the toolbox, and it works best for people who understand its limitations and are ready to put in the work to adapt to their new instrument. One thing you might not know is that even if you do go the surgical route, voice training is pretty much always part of the process. Surgeons often recommend training before surgery to help you prepare your vocal muscles and develop healthy habits that make recovery easier. Like how you might have to undergo laser hair removal or other things before other surgeries. But it's also to figure out if your goals are achievable through training alone and determine if surgery is even necessary. And after surgery, there's the post-op recovery process, which usually involves more training. This is because surgery is not like hitting the reset button on your voice. It doesn't instantly create a polished, finished product. You still have to put in the work to make your voice your own. It's kind of like getting a brand new car. Exciting, right? But you still need to learn how to drive it properly.
Whoa, I forgot, it has no ABS.
Now let's talk about training without surgery, because honestly, for most people, training alone is enough to reach their goals. And putting the cost differences aside, for some people, voice training interferes much less with their life and job than recovering from surgery. There's this myth floating around that voice training doesn't work, and respectfully, that is just not true. There are thousands of people who transform their voices through training alone. Pitch, resonance, vocal weight, sentence contour, and emphasis. All of these things can be shaped through training, and none of them require surgery to improve. Take Amara, for example.
So low voice, everything default. Low voice with resonance. Low voice with larynx contraction. Low voice with resonance and larynx contraction. And I'm gonna keep this as much as I can and start to increase to have a higher pitch. So if I raise the pitch a little bit and keep a certain level of that, this doesn't sound too bad. I tend to have a bad habit with the S's, but whatever. So going a bit higher and increasing the amount of larynx contraction and resonance. It's a very, very feminine voice.
Her training journey is a great example that with the right techniques and practice, you can create a voice that feels authentic to you. And she's not alone. There are so many stories like hers. The beauty of training is that it's empowering. It gives you control over your voice and the ability to shape it in ways that feel right for you. Your journey isn't gatekept by insurance approvals, surgery consults, or recovery periods to get started. Training is something you can begin right now, self-driven with free resources or with courses and lessons. I recently made a video that looks into the science behind how gendered voices are created and looks at the effects of behavior versus biology. If you want to know more about the power of vocal behavior, I recommend checking that out. So here's the big takeaway. Surgery is amazing, but it's not a quick fix. And for most people, training alone is enough to achieve their voice goals. Even if you're considering surgery down the line, training is a great place to start. It's low risk, empowering, and gives you tools that you can carry with you for life. And the best part, you don't have to wait. You can start your voice journey right now with the voice you already have. Trust me, you might be surprised by what's possible. If you're ready to take that first step, check out my free webinar. It offers you the tools and confidence to start your vocal transformation journey today. Register by clicking the link below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that will help you harness the power of your voice. That's all for today. I've been Renee, and I hope this helps. This is the difference between a good director and a great director.
It's the lack of blooper reel.
In day-to-day life. For some of these folks, do you watch all of these and decide which one is best?
Yeah, I'll usually watch through them once.
Oh my God, so much at my face. I'm so sorry.
It's been 3 years in your face.
How are you still doing this?